Hey guys, this is Staten, and today I'll be playing some more of Neverwinter. Now, as I play, I've got a few things to mention. One, I'm at level 80 now. That's the highest level you can reach in the game, unless in the distant future they decide to do some sort of update to this game where they tack on another 10 levels, which they have done not that long ago, because for the longest times, at least from the time I started playing, 70 was actually the highest level you could reach, but now it's 80, and there's nothing wrong with that. I got no problem with that at all. In fact, I wouldn't complain if 99 or 100 would be the level cap in this game. Think it would actually make it more interesting. And well, and that's not the only thing. As it turns out, I did something I never thought I would do. I joined a guild. I joined a guild called the Ash and Roses. Now, how I came across this was by chance because, well, I without going into a lot of details, let's just say for the last month, I've been having a lot of physical pain, which has now been dealt with, and it's all uphill for me now. But because because of the pain I had to endure, sleep was pretty much hard to come by for me. So so while I would stay up late, I would just go on this game and start playing. Well, I was going through one of the dungeons that requires you to team up with at least four other players. So I did that, and well, there were these two girls that were talking to each other as I was going through the dungeon. They were talking about their characters and they were laughing and everything, and that intrigued me because I know you can. I always knew you could chat through the mic in most online PS4 games, and I knew Neverwinter was not the exception to that rule. However, most of the characters or players kept to themselves, or when they would chat in the text screen at the bottom left corner. Not sure why they would want to do that. I mean, I know keyboards exist for the PS4, but I I don't know. Maybe more people have them than I think, but for someone like me who doesn't have one, scrolling the cursor over each letter to type in a sentence in the text screen becomes really tedious after so long. So, for someone like me, I'd prefer to use the headset. But listening to them after so long, and I remember one of the first things they said because I'm always in the habit of running on ahead and trying to help clear a path so the rest of the players can run on through. Well, anyways, how do I? Oh yes, I sometimes can get myself in a situation where I'm ganged up on. Well, what one of the girls, I believe at the time it was I believe it was Lil that said it. I'm not sure. Uh Lil is not the name of her character though. It's Lithiel, but Lil is what we tend to call her. And well, I believe it was her that actually spoke to me first. She said, she's like, Statin, stay close to us. I'm a cleric. I can heal you. And then she starts talking to her friend again, saying, I'm trying to get this guy who apparently is naked. to stick close to us. Now, I tried talking to them at first on the mic with no response, and that's because I found out that my mic was actually turned off at the time, so I turned it on, and then I explained to them how I wish a lot of people on this game would talk more like they do, because the game would be more entertaining for people to interact more. I also said, I also corrected them on the whole naked thing, because as you can see right now, I'm wearing underwear. I don't think that counts as being naked. Uh, well, anyway, so we were having fun talking to each other, and Lil, I think she was the one that asked me if I wanted to be a part of the guild. I could be wrong on that. You see, back because the thing is I didn't know any of them at the time, so and remembering who did what when it comes to being around people you don't know, the details can get a little fuzzy for someone like me. But she asked me if I wanted to join the guild, and at first I said no, because the truth be told, I'm still trying to grasp the basics of this game. There's a lot of things on this game I hear people talk about, and they talk about it like it's common knowledge and that they understand it to the fullest. But for someone like me who's hearing it, tends to go over my head. I get the whole completing quests, leveling up, getting better armor, and enchanting the armor and weapons and everything. But then there's other things that I'm not quite familiar with, such as skirmishes, raids, and all that. I I haven't really done any of those things before, and I know that there's a lot more to this game than what I've really been playing. So I explained all that to them, and I told them that I feel like as a as a solo player, I'm someone who may be fun to interact with on occasion, but yeah, if you have to keep explaining, or if you have to kind of teach me these things as if I just started playing, then that might be a bit much for them. They said no, no, we'll help you understand it, and you'll get better over time. So after a while, I accepted. Then so from that point on, over time, I started listening to their conversations, because for me, when I get to know people, I'm often the quiet person in the beginning. But then, as I slowly ease my way in and start feeling more comfortable, I start to pipe up and engage in the conversations as well. I know that's I know that's real. That might be a hard thing to understand, because if I were really that, I wouldn't say shy. I think that's a little extreme of a word for my case. But for someone who likes to post videos and talk a lot on those videos, you would think I would have no problem stepping in and starting conversations right from the start. But that's not always the case for someone like me. So, so I, so the name of the guild is Ash and Roses, and three of the people who I've interacted with the most, who I think are they're great. They're funny, they're kind, and whether if it's just simply to chat with them or play on the game with them, but their names are Lil, who plays the character on Neverwinter called Lithiel, and there's Amaris, which I believe I believe her character, that's her character name also in the game. Then there's Jack, and he is hilarious. I gotta tell you, he I don't. It's been a while since he and I actually quest just. I'd say early yesterday morning my time. I say my time because he and I live in different time zones. But he and I teamed up and we were completing random quests together, and he he would uh, he would crack off jokes and everything. He when you team up with people like that, the game is a real blast. Not that it wasn't fun before, but it goes to show how online games, how they are truly set apart from games where you do just one player. And this was actually brought to its full meaning to me when I revisited a game that I hadn't played in years. Don't know if any of you are familiar with this game. A lot of I it's kind of a 50-50 thing, but there's a game called Requiem, which is kind of an old outdated online game, and it has very similar gameplay to Neverwinter in the sense that you complete quests, you kill things, you grow levels, you get armor, etc., etc. Storyline and the place though completely different. I uh, I used to play that game all the time, and yes, my character name was Staten even back then, and I don't know why that name just fits me more than any other name that I can think of. But I back in those days, I joined a guild and formed a bond with them. I forget why exactly, but there was just a point where I started playing the game less and less. It might have been because it was a time when I was getting really busy, and there were just things I needed to do and things I kind of needed to focus on at the time. Well, it got to the point where I stopped playing completely. I don't think it was really so much of a choice as much as it was just something that I wasn't thinking about at the time. Well, about a year ago, and at this time, 3 years had passed. Not logged in on the game once. 3 years, and for some reason, I had dreamt one night that I was playing the game, and it had been on my mind since. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna check it out and see what's going on with it now. So I installed the game onto my laptop and I logged in, and boy, I can tell you right now that that's the closest feeling to being creeped out in a video game I've ever felt before. The game was literally a ghost town. The monsters were there, the NPCs were there, but the players were not. The guild I had joined before was gone, and at first I thought it was just in that area, but I went from Vil. One moment. Um, Anyways, I went from village to village in search of other players. Didn't find any of them. They were everyone was just gone. But for the heck of it, I decided to play a little bit, anyways. And I will tell you this: when you play by yourself on an online game and you know no other players are around, it's not as fun. Even if you're not known for interacting with other players that much, knowing knowing that the other players are not around does take a lot of the fun away. You would think that a online game could also pass for a solo game, but it doesn't. It is noticeable and it does take a lot of the fun out of it. So after that, I pretty much uninstalled the game and never went back to it since. I hope that never happens to Neverwinter. I really don't. I hope it doesn't. Anyways, so with that said, it's time, now that I got all that knocked out of the way, it's time for me to touch on the subject that the video's titled after. I'm gonna tell you all a story. Uh, the story that has.
There's one thing we have in common with the lizard folk. Neither of us are giving in without a fight.
Well, anyways, the story is about my friend in the guild, Lowell. Now, she's had to endure a very tough choice here. You see, in the game, she met a man named Karzoff. Well, Karzoff is a Nasher. Now, if you're familiar with the game, Nashers are one of the villains that you have to be against. Well, if as strange as it may sound, the two fell in love. Lowell and Karzoff were in love, but because he was a Nasher and she was the hero, they could not. They both knew their love could never be. So instead of making him, whew, instead of making him live with a broken heart, she decided to end his life as a final act of love. That story really gets to me. I cried when I heard it. It's not fair. Just because they were different, the world wouldn't accept them being together. The world can be cruel and heartless at times. Well, lol, if you see this video, I want you to understand one thing. Karzoff may be dead, but the love you two shared will always be alive, forever. And for those of you who are interested, um, she actually recorded their final moments together on her channel. Lowell has a YouTube channel also, and it's called Crystal Dream Studios. Now, now, if I remember correctly, and I believe this is the yes, I am right. The title of her video on that channel is called "Playing with Vixen." There, you will see their final moments and where Lol had to make the hardest decision of her life, and that was ending the life of the one she was in love with, knowing that they'll never be in each other's arms.
Leokis told you to take the teeth out of the dead lizards and string them up as a warning? Is he crazy? Doing that would just make the lizards even more angry at us. I'd like to avoid signing my own death warrant, thanks.
Now, so if all of you are interested, go visit her channel, check out her videos, but first and foremost, check out her Playing with Vixen video because that's just the most romantic video you'll ever see. And legend has it, if you ever find Lol in the game, and she'll be under the name Lithiel, um, remember, if you stand close enough to her, long enough, you can feel your heart breaking, because that's the feeling she has to go through now as a result. So after, if you do watch her video, give her video a thumbs up, because giving her video a thumbs up is like the YouTube version of giving her a hug. And from what I've seen on some of her videos, she does say she is a hugger, so that would be most appreciative. So for all of you, watch her videos, give her all the hugs she can stand. For Lol and Karzov, and the love they have for each other.
Something not quite right about this swamp. Aside from the fact that it's floating hundreds of feet above the ocean, of course. It's strange. Even the most fetid swamps usually have some places to find drink.
So that's pretty much all that's been happening. I can honestly say, in the short week that has gone by, I've had an adventure and a half, growing, maxing out my level, um, joining a guild, and actually bonding and becoming friends with members of that guild. They are good people. All and I'm not saying those three that I named off are the only three good people in that guild. I'm sure the guild is filled with lots of good people, but I haven't exactly had a chance to talk or interact with all of them. Um, and I may over time expand my horizons. It'll just take time, is all. But I've really been enjoying myself. And no, just because Statton's level's maxed out doesn't mean he's at his strongest, because the truth be told, he can get a lot stronger. I just need to find better armor and weapons I can equip him with over time, and enchant the weapon and armor and increase his strength even further. To be honest with you, there's something else that's kind of caught my eye at the moment. I noticed that despite the fact that 80 is the highest level, I noticed that my experience point meter is still climbing. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen when that bar is filled completely. I know it's not going to grow a level, but is something else going to happen, or is it just going? You see, I've never gotten this far into the game before. I have no idea what to expect. So if you're ever playing Neverwinter and you see members of the Ashen Roses, that's a guild I belong to, and you better treat us all well, because we may have soft hearts like roses, but mess with us in a negative way, and we will reveal our thorns. And the final words you'll hear from us is, "Feed me, Seymour."
Just looking at this water, I can tell their stills use a more powerful enchantment than I expected. However they are purifying this water, it's no easy process. There's more wrong with this swamp than the water. It's
Okay, I'm gonna complete this final quest for this video, and then I'm gonna call it done. Also, if it seems like Statton's kind of doing zigzagging motions, like going back and forth instead of running in a straight line, That's because my dog is climbing all over me right now while I'm trying to do this and record this video. That so if it seems like you're wondering, hey, where's he going? Well, yeah, now you know why. But I love her. Yeah, I did get another dog after Rodney passed away. I still miss him and I still love him. He'll always be my dog. He'll be the one and only dog that's ever been mine personally. Any dog I've had before that has been a family dog, and any dog after that will be a family dog. Rodney's the only dog that I ever want to be considered my own. Still makes me. I'm still sad to have him gone. But with that said, I do, I do love the new dog. Never, I didn't think I'd bond with another one after Rodney's passing, but this one has won me over. I still like to consider her as the family dog. Her name is Maya, by the way. She's a Morkie, a Yorkie slash Maltese, while Rodney was a Shih Tzu. In fact, not sure of how many of you who watch my videos notice this, but I actually, when I created my companion and made him into a dog, I actually named him Rodney after my dog. This is kind of one of those ways where he's always with me. Okay, I'll just turn the quest in. Then I'll say my goodbyes. Well, not goodbyes because it's not permanent. I'm gonna obviously post more videos, but I think most of you knew what I meant. I think all of you even knew what I meant.
Well, this is a welcome change. Someone not covered in scales and not trying to kill me. Thanks for fixing up the bridges, though. I'd hate to be stuck out here.
Well, here we go. I'll just find a good place to the do the outro. Okay, here we go. And that's the video for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. My name is Staten. Like, share, and subscribe, and you all have yourselves a wonderful day.